Backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, whatever you want. I'm coming to you live from Breckenridge, Colorado. It's a little bit of a rainy day, a little bit cold out here, and I had to get improv a little bit to actually do it under an overhang because it's raining right now. But we'll get through this anyway. Where is all my folks? Where's all my friends? Where's all my folks from across the pond in Ireland, where it's probably raining there too? But it's one of the most beautiful states you've ever seen, Colorado. This is actually the first time I've been here. Jane Rooms, good to see you. Excellent. Cowboy and Saddle. Hey, Bill. You got the horse and I got the saddle. Together we're gonna ride, ride, ride. Aberdeen, Scotland. Wow, that's pretty cool. Aberdeen. Vicky Smith, good to see you. Angie Carson, Wendy Kraft. Hello, hello. I've been away from no podcasting, nothing for the last couple of days. The man, the myth, the legend, Muggsy Siegel. Hello. Dawn Marie, good to see you. Milwaukee Civilian. Good morning, retired Detective Sergeant. Good to see all you guys. Yeah, it's a little, sometimes with the podcast, you really need to get away for a while. You get so engrossed in it, and I do miss you guys, and I miss talking to you guys, and that's why I said, something? I'm going to do a coffee with Cannon I don't know if you guys can see the mountain. I'll raise this up a little bit. It's a little bit far, but I didn't want to be out by, if I leave this overhang. Our whip, yes, I am on vacation. I came to visit my son, Casey, who lives in Denver, and we're supposed to take a walk later on. Dunedin, Florida. Tropical storm hurricane. Well, this is the hurricane months in Florida, right? That's why I didn't want to be in Florida on these months. But, I wanted to, let me just see if this is better when I put the phone up, put the camera up higher, as they say. Let's see. Is that better, guys? Is that a better view? It's hard to see everything behind me. Rachella Pranzo is in the house. Good to see you guys. 88 people in the chat, 27 with the smoky Northwest. Cowboy. Kazira. There we go. We're back on. We okay now? Yeah, it froze for a second. We all right now, guys? It's showing, the Wi-Fi showing pretty good. Ontario, Canada. Pomeranian puppy. Good to see you. So when I left, the big case was, of course, Chief James Burke, formerly of the Suffolk County Police Department, taking an arrest. And there's all kinds of things wrong with that guy, right? But the big problem is not him, because that's his problem, right? And he's got numerous problems. But the big problem is that he was once in charge of the Gilgo Beach investigation, the Long Island serial killer investigation. And it's not a good look, obviously, right? I think when Rodney Harrison went to the press conference, he sort of wanted to distance himself from that it just was a horrible thing, And Vicky O'Quinn, good to see you. 97 in the chat, 40 with the thumbs up. Coming to you live from Breckenridge, Colorado. Not looking good, Orwood. No, so if you know the story, James Burke was the chief of the Suffolk County Police Department between the years 2012 and 2015. And that's when the thick of the Long Island serial case, the bodies were recovered in 2010. So the investigation was, should have been at its strongest right back then. But then we realized he took a collar back then. And he was doing some really bizarre things in regards to, let's just say misconduct. And someone broke into his car and stole a tape out of it, which did not show him in a good light, allegedly with some escorts. I don't want to use certain words because I know YouTube doesn't like it. And he was arrested, and then he beat up that guy that broke into his car, and he wound up going to prison, federal prison, for like 4 years. And the amazing thing is, he did go to federal prison, but he was able to keep his pension, which supposedly he has a $146,000 a year pension. That's incredible. No, I'm in Breckenridge, Colorado right now. First time I've been here. Beautiful, beautiful state, gorgeous. My son lives in Denver. This is the first time his mom and I and his brother, we came to visit him, so he's really excited that we came to visit him. He wanted to show us his new dog. He just got a puppy, a Labradoodle, and he's very excited. So it is beautiful. Moose Girl 108, Streamlab manifested with Jacqueline Johnson, Denver. Good to see you. Lieutenant Pete, morning boss. Lieutenant Pete is in the house. All the great people that are there with me in New York are with me in Colorado. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Puppies, yeah. My son loves his little doggy. You know, all I get is pictures of him and his dog. You know, our whip been wanting to go to Denver. So let's get back to James Burke. So the fact that he took this arrest, and again, it was a, let's say, a morals charge. He propositioned a male undercover agent in this park, the Vietnam Park, out in Suffolk County, and he was arrested. And when he was getting arrested, he tried to use his former status as the chief of the Suffolk County Police to get off, and obviously the police or the rangers who arrested him weren't having it. They weren't going to do this guy any favors. They arrested him, and it's a keeper, and it's an embarrassment. Not just an embarrassment, well, of course, to James Burke. I don't know if he still can be embarrassed, but it's an embarrassment to the Suffolk County Police. Here's this guy who formerly ran this department, ran the Gilgo Beach investigation, and he's getting arrested. Casarija, I don't know if Burke's married or not. I don't know the answer to that. Disrespect to our veterans, disrespectful to everything. You know, that's the thing too, and I'm going to get to that now. Now, he's arrested for this morals charge, let's call it that, in this Vietnam Memorial Park out in Suffolk County. And many people think that he's actually involved in these disappearing escorts that occurred in 2010 in Gilgo Beach. So now what is this? What does that do now to the prosecution? There's something called, in the law, something called the fruits of the poisonous tree. And what that means is that if evidence is obtained illegally, then that evidence can be excluded by the judge, thrown out, and that's known as fruits of the poisonous tree. If any part of that evidence is tainted, a judge can make a decision and throw out all the evidence. So what we're thinking of is a lot of the our veterans deserve love and the most respect, always appreciating you. Absolutely, our veterans, you know, it's funny, I was walking in Breckenridge yesterday to talk about something related to that. And I bought one of those oxygen canisters because this is over 10,000 feet, so I'm taking a blast every once in a while because the oxygen in your blood gets lowered and you get a headache and all this. It's a real thing. So I was talking to the guy behind the counter, in some way I told him I was retired NYPD and I have a podcast and blah, 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 blah. And he said something to me that really makes you feel good. He said, "Thank you for your service." And that goes true for service in the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the corpsmen, any of those people that serve their country. We obviously thumbs up. Thank you for your service, and you guys are right. And let's get back to James Burke. So we were talking about the fruits of the poisonous tree. So any evidence potentially that they obtained during his time, will the defense say, well, this is tainted evidence, Your Honor? And can the judge throw the evidence out? Potentially. I don't know what the judge is going to do and how it's going to be presented to him by the defense now of Rex Heuermann. Now do they have to look into the fact, absolutely, that does James Burke know Rex Heuermann? Did you ever think of that? Now they got to look into that. Were there any phone calls between them? all of this stuff is stuff that's going to be raised by attorneys. I personally think that Rex Heuermann acted alone and that they got the right guy. But many people, and you have every right to think this, are going to think that, wait a minute, how do we know this guy James Burke is dirty all the way? Not just dirty, he's a chief of police, and he's getting involved in this kind of stuff. He had a in his car of nefarious activities, and that's why he beat up a guy, and that's why he went to prison. Michael Allen, I think Rex is going to perv parties with Burke. There's a possibility of that. And I'm not going to, say anything should be excluded or any possibilities are not possible, because absolutely, it is a possibility. Rex, do you read anything into Rex not Googling the other victims? Well, Rex liked to call people on the phone. In fact, he called the families of two of the victims utilizing their phones. When we talk about serial killer trophies, one of the best trophies that Rex Heuermann had was the phone of Brainard Barnes and Maureen Brainard Barnes, and the other phone belonged to another one. I can't think of the exact person it belonged to, but he had two of the victims' phones. It could have been Melissa Waterman, and they called the family members utilizing these phones, and that is just a horrific thing. When we had Dr. Joni Johnson on, probably like a month ago, she said that Rex Heuermann is a sexual predator, and he got a lot of his joy, a lot of his enjoyment out of the pain that he inflicted on other people. So, Susie Dupree, good to see you. Thank you for being a channel member. Guys, this is Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. If you're not subscribed, want to subscribe, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and ring that. Join our Patreon with 3 different levels, or our YouTube channel memberships if you're not a channel member. We really appreciate all you guys. So yeah, I'm trying to catch up, because I sort of missed. I did an early show that day, and then there was a press conference of James Burke's arrest, and I sort of missed that. And hot tub time. Yeah, you see the hot tub behind me, except it's really cold and nasty out here right now. Maybe when it warms up in the afternoon, we'll venture into the hot tub. Teresa B., good morning. Good morning. So I watched some of the lawyers commenting on this, and of course lawyers are going to think that this is a huge problem. Oh, this could throw the whole case into upheaval. This could throw out all the evidence, the fruits of the poisonous tree. The judge could throw out all this evidence. Tina Wright, no, we're actually at an Airbnb. We're at a condo, it's like a 3-bedroom condo. An Airbnb, but all the houses around here are like $3, $4, $5 million houses, because it's right near the mountain, the ski mountain. And I would imagine when the snow comes down on here, it's incredible, just incredible. So yeah, let's get back to James Burke. So many of these attorneys think that James Burke is part of this, and this could definitely affect the case. However, James Burke was arrested and out of there. He ran the investigation in 2015. So he took that arrest and he went to federal prison. So all of the evidence that they got was in the last, well, not all of it, because they used some of the evidence developed by the previous investigators. However, the evidence that they got connecting Rex Heuermann with the Chevy Avalanche, and of course with the burner phones, and connecting it to Massapequa Park, connecting it to Manhattan, all of that is in the last year and a half. In fact, 6 weeks after they formed the Gilgo Beach Task Force, a state investigator, Hugo Tube 75, Bill, enjoy your vacation. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker, very much appreciated. Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, coffee, cuffs, and cannon in the backyard, Breckenridge, Colorado. Wow, you don't usually see this scene, right? You usually don't see this scenery, but it's Certainly beautiful. And BB2, good to see all you guys. 211 in the chat, 95 with the thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up, guys. Uh, Never trust a guy in a mustache nowadays, says manifested with Jacqueline Johnston. Good, I'm glad I don't have a mustache. I used to grow a mustache once in a while when I was on the police department, and I was like, let me just be clean. One time when I was in anti-crime years ago, I had a beard. I had a big full beard. I haven't grown a beard in so many years, but that's okay. Anyway, so how will this affect the case, and will it affect the case? Will some of the evidence, of course the attorneys, Sharon Reynolds, good to see you. Of course the attorney, Michael Brown, for Rex Heuermann, he's going to use every bit of this to create doubt and say, Your Honor, this evidence is fruits of the poisonous tree. It must be thrown out. It was obtained illegally by this tainted chief of Suffolk County Police. I mean, I don't personally believe that, but that's what the defense is going to be. That's what the attorneys are going to say. Whip, I do believe Burke was at the party at Brewers the night Shannon went missing. Whip, you know something? Is that a possibility? That's a possibility. Yeah. It's so sad. It really is sad, because to think that this guy could be involved in something like this. But Shannon Gilbert, there were many people at that location. You heard all the voices on the 911 call. You heard all the voices in the back. Then there was 3 911 calls. You heard her on the 911 calls. How many times have they interviewed all of those witnesses? Do they need to go back there again? Do they? Do they need to talk to all the people, do a canvass of that whole Oak Beach location and ask people if they've ever seen Chief Burke at that location in his off-duty time, not in his police uniform? All of these things are really sad in a way, that this is a potentiality that Burke could have been involved in this. And again, horrible. There's no one, you'll see no one in the police service try to defend James Burke's conduct. No one will try to defend it, because it's indefensible, So, and then the district attorney at the time, Spoda, Roger Still, they haven't even interviewed Asa Ellerup yet. Roger, you know something? Asa Ellerup, she's the one that dictates whether she gets interviewed or not. She has an attorney. She doesn't have to be interviewed. She can refuse to be interviewed. So it's not a done deal that Asa Ellerup is going to be interviewed, or the 2 adult children. It's not a done deal that they're going to be interviewed. They're represented by counsel. As we know, when you're represented by counsel, you do not have to be interviewed by the police. So that's, if they agree to be interviewed, I would definitely say, have you ever seen Rex with James Burke? Have you ever seen this guy around? It's almost incredible that we're talking about this in connection with the police chief of a rather large police department, Suffolk County, and of course not as big as New York or LA or Miami, but a substantially large police department. So it's unfortunate that we're talking about this, but look, so let's just talk about what this case, what it means for the case. Whip, in the 911 audio, you can hear several men in the background, and if you listen very close, you can hear a police radio. I don't know if that, in fact, is a police radio. I'd have to listen to the 911 tapes again. I've listened to it several times. That could be the 911 operator on the phone that you're hearing. Lady Prudence, reasonable doubt. That's what the defense will be working about. 100% the defense will be working on reasonable doubt, for sure. Joel Leah, I'm in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder is supposed to be magnificent also. This whole area is magnificent, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 200 people, 210 people in the chat, 126 with the thumbs up. So, guys, let's get back to James Burke and Rex Heuermann. So, there's been some new developments too. I don't know if you've been paying attention, and I hate to jump to this, but BTK, they recently found in a search some other like garments belonging to what they think are victims, and they're trying to connect him to other victims. That could be how this case goes with Rex Heuermann, that it may take years and years and years to connect Rex Heuermann to other victims in other locations. They're still talking about the woman in South Carolina. They're trying to connect that case to him. The Las Vegas, they're still trying to connect 4 victims to Rex Heuermann. The New Jersey, Atlantic City, they already said they cleared him of that. I don't know what they have that cleared him. They must have DNA or other forensic evidence that cleared Rex Heuermann, but they absolutely said he's not responsible for the ones in New Jersey. But how do we also not know or know that there's cases that have yet to be identified that Rex Heuermann could be responsible for? Missing persons that have yet to be determined as homicides. So all of those cases are quite, they're going to be investigated for years. And I don't know if you guys, on one of the last shows I did, I said, look, after his trial, and if and when Rex Heuermann gets convicted, all right? And again, he's innocent till proven guilty, as we know. But if he gets convicted, and of the 3 murders right now that they're charging him with, potentially a 4th, will he then speak that he's going to prison for life without parole, no chance of parole? Could they cut a deal with him at that point? Nothing to do with time. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison no matter what. But could they cut a deal perhaps for a higher level of privileges in prison if he comes clean and confesses to everything that he's done? Is that a potentiality? Is that a possibility? Yeah, I think it is. And that's how the police gets to work. How about speaking to a forensic psychologist? Have someone like a Dr. Joni Johnson go into the prison and talk to this guy. Maybe accompanied by a detective. Sharon Reynolds, he will be in control as to others he might take to his grave. Sharon, that's a possibility. But a lot of times these guys, these serial killers, they like the notoriety of telling what they've done, taking responsibility. Fire Opal, good to see you. Taking responsibility for what they've done, almost like bragging about it, After all, look, some of the things that we don't know as people following this case, true crime followers, true crime, real crime, some of the things that we don't know, observers I should say, is what did they recover in the search warrant at Rex Heuermann's home? Were there more trophies? Everyone wants to fixate on that he had 200 and X amount of guns. But as far as we know, that has nothing to do with these cases, that he was a gun buff, right? These cases, the cause of death was asphyxia, strangulation. So the guns had nothing to do with this. But what did they recover? Eileen, we really don't know what age he started. You're 100%, Eileen. We don't know. And Dr. Joni Johnson, who I had on my show, said she believes, like many other forensic psychologists believe, as he started out much younger than 42 years old. He didn't just start becoming a serial killer at 42 years old. So I'm Sharon Reynolds. I'm not sure who you were referring to, but yeah, I think we all agree. Look, Rex Heuermann is 59 when he was arrested. These murders occurred and the bodies were recovered in 2010. One we think happened in 2007, right? So Rex Heuermann, again, that's a long time ago, right? 2010 is 13 years ago, right? So Rex Heuermann was 43 years old in that then, or excuse me, 46 years old. Uh, so, I think one of the big things that everyone is sort of waiting for, and everyone wants to point the finger more at the Suffolk County Police, is if they find out that between 2010 and 2023 that he's killed again. Because they would always point to the Suffolk County Police and said, you had the investigative information that you needed to arrest this guy, and you did a very poor job in investigating. What am I referring to? Amber Costello, David Schaller, who was her roommate slash pimp. They all had drug problems in that house. He actually saw Rex Heuermann, right? He said that on numerous occasions he reported to the police that the man was 6'4" to 6'6", 250 to 300 pounds. He described him as an ogre. Ogre, remember that word, ogre? That's how he described him. And he described the green Chevy Avalanche. They had that information back in 2010. Where did it sit? Did it sit in the case folder, growing cobwebs? Did anybody act upon that information? Or did someone take it out of the case folder and hide it from the other investigators? I think that as this case proceeds, there's got to be a huge investigation, not just on Rex Heuermann and this entire case, but how about on the conduct of the investigators, the initial investigators? How was that missed? Teresa B., yes, very sad. How was that missed? If it was as out front, if it was as in your face as they're saying it was, how was it missed? Fire Opal, yes it is. 246 in the chat, 160 with the thumbs up. Police off the cuff, real crime stories. Backyard beverage, coffee with Cannon, bitching with Bill, live from Breckenridge, Colorado. Never thought I'd say you see these beautiful trees and the mountains behind me. It is a beautiful location. Kelcher, Cambridge, could Burke have hid those papers? Yeah, and the biggest thing that Burke is being criticized about, of course, is not bringing in the FBI, not bringing in other resources. Look what Rodney Harrison did when he started this task force, and you can believe that Rodney Harrison started the task force, or the district attorney Ray Tierney, who's a former Brooklyn assistant district attorney. So the task force was Rodney Harrison came in from New York City. Now, who did he bring in? Right away he said, I went to the FBI. In his Newsday interview, Rodney Harrison said, I went to the FBI. And the FBI was reluctant to join the task force because of the way they were treated by Burke. Have you ever heard anything like that before? I've never heard that. Any law enforcement organization go to the FBI and say, oh, would you join this investigation? We could use your assistance. And them say, well, we didn't like the way we were treated. We're going to have to really be sort of schmoozed. That's a Yiddish word. Schmoozed or cajoled or encouraged. Let's put it that way, right? Encouraged. I like the word schmoozed. Let's schmooze the FBI. Let's get them in on this. So not only they brought the FBI, they brought the FBI, Suffolk County detectives, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, New York State Police. And who am I missing? The FBI. 5 different law enforcement entities they brought in, right? ATS News, wow. Cheryl F., how are you guys? Good to see all you guys. So all of those things, the FBI was reluctant to come in. Now they have 5, count them, 5 different law enforcement entities. 5 different law enforcement entities making a fist, and the power of that fist joining that task force. And guess who came up with one of the most important leads, one of the most important bits of information? A state investigator, a female detective from New York State Police, using a database called Lawman Search, found the Chevy Avalanche registered to someone in Massapequa Park. That individual was Rex Heuermann. So had they put that together so many years ago, this case could have been solved, right? So it could have been solved many, many years ago. And I think that with the public's waiting to see, waiting to hear, did anyone else die? Is anyone else murdered because of this negligence? That's what I think they're waiting to see. If the Suffolk County Police would have made what database? It's called the lawman search. It's a search of vehicles, and the state police have access to it. They could search a car by the year, by the color, by where it's registered, by the owner, all of those things. That's how, and I'm oversimplifying it because this investigator by the state police found that car, and what they call it, a first generation Chevrolet Avalanche, green in color, that was registered in 2010 to Rex Heuermann. And folks, he had got rid of that car, but it was with his brother down in South Carolina. So they even found the car again. And what did they do with the car? They invoiced it. They took it into custody. For what reason? To forensically process the car for evidence. Ed Wallace, NYPD first grade crime scene detective, said on Duty Ron's show, Crime Time with Duty Ron, that even after that amount of time, 13 years, there could still be forensic evidence in that car belonging to one of the Gilgo victims. So pretty damn good work, right? Connecting that car to the perpetrator. What if there is transfer evidence in that car? Hair, blood, fibers, skin cells, connecting it to one of those victims. We all know forensically that 32-page document, that bail application document that was made by the Suffolk County DA's office, lists 3 hairs belonging to Essa Ellerup that were found on the victims, right? That they were able to identify those hairs as belonging. Colleen, I don't do the intro when I'm doing a coffee with Canon because I'm just doing it on my phone. I don't have all my podcasting material here in Breckenridge, Colorado. I have my gimbal, my cell phone, and I got you guys here with me. That's all I need. So I didn't have the intro, nor will I have the outro. When I say it's the end of the show now, I just say goodbye from Breckenridge, Colorado. Holly Golightly, good to see you. So good to see all you guys. ATS News, 247 in the chat, 178 with the thumbs up. Live from Breckenridge, Colorado. We're talking about the Long Island serial killer case. I know you guys know that last week I was interviewed. Colleen, love Colorado, used to live in Denver. I was interviewed by People Magazine Investigates, and they interviewed me for over 3 hours in regards to the Long Island serial killer case, and it's going to be on October 2nd on HBO Max and on the ID channel, Investigation Discovery. Time, I don't have the time yet, but that's the date, October 2nd. So if you guys have a chance, HBO Max or the ID channel, I'm sure it'll play a lot. It won't just play once. So yeah, it was fun. And then we went to, after the interview, the sit-down interview, we met at Oak Beach Inn, which is right out of that Oak Beach area that Shannon Gilbert was last seen. And they shot some stills of me there. Sedona Skies, hey Bill, you got so good at podcasting. Thank you for your skilled, Phil. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, not everyone loves me. You can never be 100% loved. As long as you have like 95% love, it's good. The other 5%, not everyone's always going to love you. You get people that no matter what are going to say, I don't like this guy. Oh, you made a mistake on this. Do I make mistakes? You bet. I make mistakes. There's so much information on these cases, and to be up, I don't have a research crew like TV does. There's so much information that Sedona Skies 80 is good. No, 80 is not good enough. You got to be in the 90s. Marshall Dub, I'm a new fan. Love you. Thank you so much. Vicky D. Quinn is clapping. Thank you guys. You know, as I said, I needed a little break, and it was great that I got away from my 2 sons. Roger Still is in the 95%. So sometimes you got to take a break. There's a lot of pressure to this. believe it or not. Maybe it's self-inflicted pressure because I put a lot of pressure on myself. But, it's a labor of love. I love doing it. But it is, it's not easy. Let me put it that way. And I'm always learning, I'm always learning new things. Thank you for a surprise stream, Bill. Hokuto Tube 75. Thank you so much for showing up. So, one of the things too, all you Colorado people, the altitude here is over 10,000 feet. So you're supposed to like drink tons of water, and they have these little oxygen canisters if you want. You take a little blast of the oxygen canister because you get a little bit of a headache, and you don't live here, and you're not used to this high altitude. My son's used to it, and it's like, oh, take a blast of oxygen. So I've been like sucking on this oxygen can all day, and it works. It helps. We're supposed to go on a little hike later. I'm like, oh my God, I better bring my oxygen tube with me, on this little hike. That's right. So, something. One of the things about this Gilgo case, the Rex Heuermann, it is high, and I say this all the time, it is hugely complicated. And at the same time, Marilyn Minetta, great, thank you, Marilyn. Bill, you always do a great job. What you're doing takes a lot of hard work. Thank you, Marilyn. Very much appreciated. There's this Gilgo case. It's hugely complicated, and it's hugely interesting. Anytime you say the word serial killer, everyone is just like, whoa, and then I mention all the time, maybe ad nauseum. Roger Still, thanks for the $5 super sticker for an oxygen blast. Great show, thanks. I should have had my canister with me. I could have taken a few blasts during the show, You ever notice that when people like climb Mount Everest, same thing, they take those oxygen canisters and they're always, but that's real serious oxygen sickness. I think it's 26,000 feet or something, 23,000 feet, Mount Everest. So your lungs are just screaming. But in this case with Rex Heuermann, there's Michael Gillespie, will Task Force do a deep dive on Burke? I think, who would most likely do it? I would think the Suffolk County DA's office, their investigators, because they already have so much information on Burke. But they're going to continue it because they got to show when they bring this case forward that none of the evidence that they got to put Rex Heuermann away was collected by Burke during his tenure, which is 2012 to 2015. However, he was on the job. Even though he wasn't maybe in charge of that investigation, he was on the Suffolk County Police. Hokuto, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. Yes, everyone's buying me oxygen. You guys want to make sure I have enough oxygen. Thank you. So yeah, I think they got to clear all that stuff up with Burke. Even in the whole world of podcasting, YouTube content creators, I don't know what's making all that noise. Hey, Sergeant Bill, isn't that the same day BK's trial starts? Guys, BK, I don't know if you've been following it, but Brian Kohberger's trial now, he put off the speedy trial. He surrendered that. It's the speedy trial also. So I don't think the defense is going to be ready on October 2nd. So I think that, as we said early on, the case for Brian Kohberger is not going to go forward till 2024. So we're talking about, after January of this year, because the defense are the ones that are slowing it down right now because they're not ready. They don't have enough information. Remember, they just recently, in the Brian Kohberger case, and I'm just segueing toward that case because someone asked, they were saying they were trying to create an alibi, saying that he was out driving at the time of the murders. And I don't know if that's really a legitimate alibi. I think they got to regroup maybe, and they obviously put off the speedy trial thing. So now, if the judge allows it, he will give them more time, which I think he will. The judge is going to give the Brian Kohberger defense more time, and Lisa Road, the Waller Bridge. Yes, thank you so much. I just, every once in a while you need a break from the podcasting world, and you got to get back into your own family reality and all of that stuff. And what's that expression? Wake up and smell the roses. Take some time to smell the roses, and that's for sure. Marshall Dove. Well, there are some shady things going on with prosecution, in my opinion, too. Are you talking about the Kohberger case? There's shady things? James Carney, is that the woman who's alleged to have killed her husband or boyfriend who was a Boston cop? I'm not sure if I have the right case. Fire Opal, I was somewhere in my car isn't the best alibi. Fire Opal, I agree. I think it's a very lame alibi, and I don't think it's going to fly. When we talk about Brian Kohberger, James, I don't know that much about that case. People have tried to get me involved in it. However, with the Gilgo thing going on, the Brian Kohberger thing going on, I just didn't have a chance really to take a deep dive into it. I apologize. And then the Rachel Morin, that case, I just saw that Dan Abrams did on News Nation, did a follow-up on that saying that law enforcement feels that the perpetrator in that case will strike again. No kidding. The guy's dangerous, right? They got him for the case. Rachel Morin was the woman who was working in that park in Maryland, and this guy attacked her and beat her to death, basically, I think in an attack. And they connected that case to a case in California in March, what they described as a home invasion. So yeah, it's the Rachel Morin case is another case we were following. So all of these things are happening while the whole Rex Heuermann case is going on with the Gilgo 4, the Long Island serial killer. So it's a lot of stuff to take in, and at the same time, Phil Grimaldi, he was on vacation. Mike Geary is, he's busy as a professor. So sometimes I got to do a lot of this stuff by myself, and I'm not making any excuses. But Lady Prudence, you need a break, of course. Thank you for coming in today. No, thank you guys for coming in and joining me here in Breckenridge, Colorado. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I could show you a little quick little view of the mountains behind me there, guys. What do you think of that? Is that unbelievable? What do you think of that? What a view, huh? It's there we go. How beautiful is that? Breckenridge, Colorado. Wow. Sometimes people ski right from their homes. They go outside their homes here, and they ski right into their front door. It's pretty amazing, right? I used to ski. I don't ski anymore. Two new hips. I don't think I should ski anymore, I don't know. I don't know if the hips will even hold up if I tried to ski. I don't know. Anyone out there with a new hip or a rebuilt that still skis after they got it? I don't know. I don't think. Watch out for bears, someone said. Yeah. So beautiful view. Yeah, I want to show you a little more. I mean, I just want to make sure you guys are getting a good look at it. So beautiful, huh? Look how high that. Look at the clouds are up by that mountain. Is that incredible? You could see the clouds. It's a little different than Westchester, I think, or Long Island, that are flat. And then you come to Colorado here. Artistic Drive of 42. Last time I skied, I got knocked out by a tree. That's not fun. Stunning. Keep mobile. No skiing. Yeah, it's probably not a great idea. What's blurry? The camera's blurry now, or the background? It's a little bit. Twist them out. I thank you, Marilyn Minetta. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys. It's a little different scenery than the scenery I usually give you. Alpine to San Bernardino National Forest was my retreat from civilization. Nicolo Diaz. Roger Still, there's no Center Lane sump. That's true, isn't that true? The Center Lane, so you must be from Levittown. That's true. Center Lane Sump was our ski mountain, that's for sure. We'd take the toboggans and go sleigh riding down in the Center Lane Sump in Levittown. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Thank you, Holly. Tina Wright. So, guys, we're getting close. I'm at 45 minutes and 52 seconds. So, I wanted to come on today to say hello. So, Lieutenant Pete's still skiing. Good for you, Lieutenant Pete. You're in great shape, and my connection is lousy. I don't know why that is, because I think some people are saying it, and other people said it looks okay. I apologize. I got about 3 minutes left. Marilyn Menez says I shouldn't ski anymore, so I guess I should just. Sedona Skies, love you, bless you and your family. Bill, thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm going to be still, of course, following the Gilgo Beach case from here, see what else people are putting on there. It'll still be there. It'll still be there when I get back, that's for sure, right? You should clear on this end. Well, thank you. Connection is fine. Tina Wright, sometimes when people say my connection's bad, it's not mine, it's theirs, and so you don't know what to do sometimes, But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be with my family. Nicolo Diaz, born in New York City. Boy, the wrestling alligators in Florida. Sometimes it's lagging. Yeah, it can happen. It's all, you're all dependent on your Wi-Fi. It's all the key. The Wi-Fi is the key. KH Walker, I can't comment on things that I haven't been up on them because I've been off from doing it, and I'm not going to. Whatever I would say would just be ignorance. I don't have a lot of information. But when I get back, I will look into some of these cases. Yeah, hot tub time. Hot tub time. And again, police off the cuff, real crime stories, backyard beverage bitching with Bill. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. From Breckenridge, Colorado, and you guys that gave me those super stickers, I'll buy another canister of oxygen. Although they say you get like 200 blasts per can. So it's we'll see how it works out. I should have enough for today. It'll be there when you get back, that's for sure. That's what I used to say about even policing. When you first want a police department, you're like, oh man, I love this job. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'll go back into work. And then you'd be like, you get 20-something years to do this. Don't worry about it. The job is still going to be here when you go home, go to sleep, and come back in, So safe all. And again, guys, all you police off the cuff fans, all you subscribers, all you friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll see you. I don't know if I'll do another Coffee with Ken while I'm here, but I'm sure going to be back very soon, and I'll join all you guys, all the police off the cuff, real crime. Michael Gillespie, thank you for being a member. Nicolo Diaz, so good to see all you guys, and I'll be back Sunday, actually, flying back Sunday. So it'll be sooner than you think, but. We all need to take Mystique. Thank you, Mystique, for stopping by. We all need to take a break, and as they say, smell the roses, right? I want some red roses for a blue lady. Send them to the sweetest gal in town.